This video is sponsored by the Moab City Department of War. This upcoming component of city government is meant specifically for the battles a mere citizen cannot fight on their own. Battles against terrifying villains like UDOT, the county assessor, the disabled dogs roaming around back of beyond, the concept of Rural Utah Project, and well-paid city employees. Of course, one could and should ask, how exactly will the Department of War accomplish these goals? The answer is simple. Strong direction from the 10 loudest people on Bitchin' Moab, who, as a council, will be able to theoretically reach a consensus on how to force defeat of the aforementioned Moab villains. With local support, the city can reach a place of complete scary vibe domination, toppling the county's 3-year streak. This video is also sponsored by Campbell GPT, the new Moab-specific generative AI from OpenAI, the people that gave the world ChatGPT and Sora. With Campbell GPT, learn the meta-commentary behind every buzzword, the history behind every geopolitical decision, and the humor lying beneath the surface of it all. Despite criticisms of hallucinations relating towards Taylor Swift and class politics, Campbell GPT can and will serve the needs of any joyful intellectual, whether they want it or not.
What are we going to talk about?
What are we going to talk about? Okay, so I watched one episode so far with Jason Taylor.
Okay.
And I thought it was very interesting.
Okay.
So.
But you're not running for election.
No, I'm not. So, okay, what's interesting about this meeting that we're having right now is your producer, Oscar, producer, he texted me and he was like, hey, do you want to come record a shop talk? And I knew what you were doing. I knew you guys were doing this. And I was like, I'm going to watch one eventually. And I just haven't gotten around to it for various reasons. And I was like, yeah, totally. I'll come help. No worries. And I, like, the morning we do, so with Oscar, we do gentleman's breakfast. You should come to a gentleman's breakfast, by the way.
Yeah.
Has he told you about that?
Yeah, he has. And I've just been in Blanding.
Yeah.
You know.
It's gentleman's breakfast plus like whoever shows up.
And genteel women.
Yeah. There's probably a more PC thing that we can come up with, but that's what it is for now because it's mostly old dudes. Yeah. It's mostly old white dudes.
Yeah.
Kind of like and Oscar and me and some other people that show up. So like 5 days ago, Oscar asks, like, do you want to record a shop talk? I'm like, totally. And then we go to this breakfast club that we have, and he's like, are you ready for your interview tomorrow? And I'm like, oh, my interview? Okay, cool. And I was not expecting to be interviewed. So I'm like, because I'm not running for election, but I really do appreciate the space because I think that, it'll be...
Yeah. I wanted to dive in and ask you some questions because, You're a younger, politically active person,
Sure.
and what do you think age plays into your involvement?
Sure. Wow, that is a good question. So I think, like, my personal story is like I got involved with politics from a young-ish age because my parents were kind of involved and they always had Fox News on and they were always talking about how corrupt the government is all the time. Like growing up, I was just like, oh yeah, this is horrible. Like people are just not good to other people when they become in positions of power. And that was kind of like the baseline. And all throughout high school, I was like a diehard Republican, like
a young Republican.
Yes. And I got to college and I started realizing that there's a lot of wealth in the country, and I like the Bernie Sanders campaign just like opened my eyes to everything. I had a lot of questions and a lot of feelings, and so did my parents. Like that's how I was raised.
Right.
And I was just like, why are the things the way that they are? Like how come everything's so messed up? And so I guess that's my story of like how I became into politics as a young person.
So how did somebody that was more on the right fit in with Bernie Sanders then?
I mean, it's populism. It's this idea of populist rhetoric.
Did you consider yourself like a right-wing populist and then switch to the left-wing populism? Or
I would no.
Or do you-
Okay, no. I was so deep into conservatism that I want recently you know how Facebook does like memories 11 years ago or whatever.
Right.
Something popped up that was like I made a Facebook post that literally was like Ted Cruz talking about how horrible Obamacare was, and I was like, everybody sign this petition. This is horrible. And I was like,
What did you think was bad about Obamacare? Because how
Okay,
old
that's
were
good.
you when it passed? It must have been like you must have been a
I don't
preteen, or
yeah.
do you remember? It
No,
passing?
I remember it. I was in high school. I was totally in high school. It was probably 16,
Yeah.
15 or 16.
So this is like formative
Yeah.
political year. Uh-huh.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Like when you're like starting to formulate your ideas of like and like how does the world work? Your worldview is starting to take shape at that age, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is horrible. And the reason I thought it was horrible was because the part of the story that was missing for me was the fact that billionaires are basically running the show. They are the puppeteers of all of the politicians, whether it's on the right or the left. And that part was not seen to me before Bernie Sanders. And so I thought it was all of these people that are on welfare, all of these poor people that quote unquote don't go to work, they're lazy, like they you know, like everything. And I was like, yeah, those are the reasons. Because, you know, my dad, he works really freaking hard, and he's a serial entrepreneur, and he loves America. And there are really great things about this country, including the fact of like being able to start your own business pretty quickly and easily. Like you can't do that in a lot of places. And so I grew up with my dad being like an entrepreneur in like multiple different areas, and you know, his whole spiel is like, the reason everything's messed up is because there's these poor people that are sucking money from the government, and then, you know, like a Bernie Sanders campaign comes on and it's like, whoa. But also at the same time, Trump kind of had that a little bit too when he first ran in 2016 also. There's like like populism is popular. This idea of like, there's a bunch of rich people now.
Yeah, it's a conspiracy that elites are running the country and you're disempowered. Yeah. And I just think, you know, what you're saying, like your dad was like shooting down and you were like, oh, we need to shoot up.
Right.
Do you think like that's kind of like right-wing populism, left-wing populism? I mean, obviously you're going to say that, yeah, left-wing populism is the correct one.
I do think
Right.
that, yeah.
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 But could you ever see anybody switching sides?
From left to right.
Yeah. You'd think that like exists, or
I think
like,
that
what are the
that would
positives?
exist. I think that would exist if the person is getting paid behind the scenes,
Oh.
which is how it works.
Yeah.
Because in my opinion, I think right-wing populism is all rhetoric. It's all, I'm going to talk about this stuff so that I get elected.
Uh-huh.
And because it's popular, you're going to say the thing that's really popular, so I get elected. And then left-wing populism is I think it's more legit. Yeah, because what populism is, I guess. Like, I guess I'll ask you, how would you define populism?
Well, I guess that's funny. I see, you know, the polls of right wing, left wing. I think what happened was a lot of the left, the traditional Democrats. What happened was government stopped providing for them or doing, like, I've railed on this really hard. The Democrats used to be the working class, like they were the union people.
Yeah.
And they were like FDR, the Great Society. Okay. And then they sold out the working class and started being more of an elite population. They did free trade. They became neoliberals.
Yep.
And so what I think happened was with the right, what I see happening is Trump came in and it was like, these are your enemies. And it's a different set of enemies, and they're pawns in a game. And then the other side, the left, was like, and these are your enemies. And it's just like there's different targets. And I mean, I'm kind of with you. It's like, I think wealth disparity is just
Dude.
Very hard.
Oh my God. We are like the wealthiest country on the planet.
Yeah.
And it just blows my mind that we're not able to provide the basics to people. Like food, water, shelter. That's the basics. And we have like a serious homeless problem throughout the country. And I think, so I actually read something recently that was like, there's like neoliberalism came into play and it's like the Democrats are neoliberals and like whatever, like I get what neoliberalism is, but recently I read that like neoliberalism is like this excuse for kind of like what capitalism is doing.
I think neoliberalism is like unregulated capitalism, right? Like it's kind of saying like, oh no, you need like to deregulate. Okay. You need to like weaken your country. You need to be like the merchant class makes money trading. Yeah. That's kind of how I see it. But I'm more interested. Yeah. You know, in like, like what do you how do you view yourself as a political animal, right? Are you like?
I would be offended if someone called me a liberal.
A leftist.
I guess I would fall under that category, but I don't like labels. I like if you had to put it in one word, it would probably be leftist would be the most accurate. I like the idea of socialism as the antithesis to capitalism and neoliberalism. I mean, a lot of people would be like, "Oh my God, socialism is horrible! Like, look at all these things that were so bad about it." And it's like, okay, we have a lot of socialist things going on in this country already. It's like that's what taxes do. They pay for roads. They pay for, I guess, the military, the post office. Those are like socialist things, and so I really do believe that with all of the money that we have in this country, since we are the wealthiest on the planet, that there should be like a cap. My dad would freak out if I this is how me.
We have to edit this.
Yeah, no, literally, yeah. Like he'll freak out. There should be a cap on wealth. Like you should not be allowed to have $100 billion. I mean, you could say there's no trillion.
You could say there's no cap, but anything over a billion, you get taxed at 99%, and you win. Sure. Right?
Yeah. That's basically a no cap.
Yeah.
And you give back to the society that, like, low-key, you're probably pillaging. Like, I mean...
So you think there's an inherent exploitation going along?
With what?
At what point is something considered exploitative?
Oh...
Like, do you think every job's exploitative?
Every job is exploitative if there is an owner of a business. Every housing situation is exploitative if everyone is renting. So yeah, that's like, I'm like, oh my God, that's a fact. Like, I'm like, firmly believe that, because.
What do you think? Like, why is that exploitative?
So. You go to work every day and you work for a for-profit, let's say you work for a for-profit trail building company. You go out, you work on a trail, and you get paid $25 an hour. And the boss charges the client or the customer a lot more than that. They charge a lot more than $25 an hour. And let's say it's just a one-man show of like you have one employee and it's one trail builder. And they work for $25 an hour, but the boss charges $75 an hour. And the boss is like, oh, I got these tools I got to pay for. I've got this machine I got to pay for. I've got the bills. I got to pay taxes. It's like, okay, sure. Like, let's say you come out with like $50 an hour after you get 75. The work that builder is doing, it's just like there's a middleman there. You know what I mean? It's like the trail builder.
That's inherently like you should not profit off of other people's labor.
I would. I mean, yeah, it's probably a very unpopular opinion, but yeah, I think ideally, a fair society would be cooperatives. It would be more fair and transparent government, and you'd be cutting out middlemen. You'd be cutting out contractors. You know, like, yeah. I just like.
I just wonder if you can have like that capitalist system has created structures in organizations that produce things, and I always wonder to what end are we producing things, right? You know,
what do you
are
mean
we
by that?
well, are we solving problems? Are we like
Sure.
exploring space? Are we like able to live in denser environments? Are
you want to know what's interesting?
Yeah.
I had a conversation today out on the trail. I was working on the trail, and someone asked. We had a volunteer day, and someone asked. This is a fact that there are. I guess they're nonprofits or like schools, like National Outdoor Leadership School, NOLS, and Outward Bound, schools like that are targeting young kids to get involved in like outdoor leadership education. Those schools are tightening their belt, and the budgets are getting smaller and smaller for those, and there's a lot of less enrollment. And so she was like, why do you guys think that is? Why do you think there's less enrollment in all these things? And like my mind immediately went to like, you know, capitalism's kind of fucking everything up. Unregulated capitalism is kind of fucking everything up. Sorry, I don't know if you have to edit that out.
Oh, no.
And I like everybody gave their turn and what they think it was, and I was like, man, like, I think it is because they're, like, times are tough for everyone right now, and because the concentration of wealth is getting, like, more and more into, like, the hands of this small population, and they're still doing it. They're still extracting a bunch of wealth, and they're hoarding it, and they're putting it into, like, whatever, private jets, real estate, whatever.
Private equity.
Yeah, private equity, oh my God, don't even get me started. And so I was like, the things that they're going to cut first, and I saw this when I was in high school and I was in some art classes, the things that they cut first when the budget gets tight is things that are like not necessary. It's like outdoor recreation. Okay, we're gonna focus on things that make money, not like things that you go out to do to have fun. And
the idea is like you stop going on vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you stop going.
Well, the lower class, the middle class, the working class essentially does this.
Yeah, and then it's like you will stop paying your car loan before you stop paying your mortgage. It's kind of like this hierarchy of needs, and most people.
You start cutting like vacation and recreation and those kinds of things. They're like, okay, we're going to cut that. We're going to cut that.
So you feel like you're seeing that around?
Yeah.
Just in real life practicality.
I mean, like you can look at Moab. Like Moab is a tourism monocrop culture tourism economy, and there's less people like businesses,
like
workers.
5 monocrops.
5 monocrops.
Right.
5 in Moab.
The hiking crop, the mountain biking crop.
Well, and they all fall under tourism, right?
Yeah.
So it's like I think of the tourism economy sort of as like a monocrop culture, like a big, huge cornfield like a Monsanto cornfield.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, okay, that's a really fragile thing. Like, what happens if, you know, the corn gets a disease and it infects all the corn? Or, like, what happens if people just stop eating corn? They don't like corn anymore. It's like...
They can't afford corn.
They can't afford corn anymore. So it's like, okay, the whole cornfield dies. So that leads into the conversation of how we should probably be diversifying the economy here.
I mean, you think we should diversify the economy, but, like... You know, you're also kind of like got this anti-capitalist vibe.
Oh yeah, that's a little contradictory. Sure, yeah, no, I appreciate you calling that out.
Well, I've had similar thoughts. You know, it's like, well, what do we want? I mean, if there's no economy, you know, it's like, where does the economy fit in our lives? Like, are we happy and poor? Are we like subsistence farmers? You know, are we hunter gatherers? It's kind of like we need this economy, and at the same time, it's also a destructive force.
Yeah.
You know, and just to me shows that, you know, it's something that needs control. Something really interesting I saw this guy's. So I want to get back to the age thing. Do you think people, the younger people, do you like? I remember, you know, I talked to somebody recently, and I was like, "Wow, that's a pretty radical viewpoint," and they're like, "Oh no, just everybody my age thinks that."
What was it?
It was about like housing policy, and they were just like, "Yeah, there shouldn't be any landlords. I'm here to abolish the landlord class." And I was like, "Wow, that's pretty radical.
That's pretty far out,
Yeah."
man.
And he was like, "No, that's just like for my generation." And he was, you know, probably late 20s. He's like, "No, that's just like normal. Like that's what
The
everybody
viewpoint
talks."
is.
Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah.
You know, that's I just see there's just so much discourse about you know, these differences in generations, and they're really pronounced. You know, I think, let's say 1,000 years ago, between 5 generations, my daddy was a yeoman farmer, my granddaddy was a yeoman farmer.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was like,
Sure.
things have happened so fast.
Okay.
I feel like every generation, like I could be like, I remember, you know, I don't remember 8 tracks, and I don't remember Michael Jackson. My girlfriend, because he had already like touched little kids, and they like banned him on the radio.
No more.
Right? You know, I think about how people
The crown.
about.
King.
Oh, was that?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Now you just look like a hamburger.
Yeah.
He's obviously a cheeseburger.
No kings.
Hamburger lip.
I feel like Gene Belcher. That's who I really am. That's what Bob's Burgers. I think Gene Belcher wore this.
It smells like her.
Yeah.
Maybe should I do the episode?
Yeah. Come on in.
Okay.
Come on in. Get over here.
Maybe
Come right here. Yeah. You might have to do some like chop editing.
Yeah. Oh, we're real.
Because we're talking about age, dog.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is like.
Oh
This is
God,
kind
and
of the
I'm in
thing.
the center.
Yeah. So you know, I can kind of understand my like. I feel like I know maybe a lot of the people that moved in at my age group, and I don't know everybody, but it's like Moab's small enough that you can kind of get. I was the Zennial, like a lot of Gen X mountain bikers were here.
Okay.
They were like hardcore, and it was like, oh, they're really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I want to like live out of my car and ride mountain bikes. There was like definitely that vibe, and so the younger kid vibe's different.
Okay.
And like, you know, like you moved to Moab rather recently, and what's that? You know, you have this different. You're the next generation that's coming in.
Growing
here.
up in Moab, you're saying.
Yeah, that's coming here to work. And what do
Yeah.
you see as, you know, you just mentioned diversifying the economy.
Right.
What's your how do you? Let me hear it. I don't.
So okay, so what I'm thinking about is, again, back to my story. I moved to Moab like right before the pandemic, did the pandemic thing, got locked down here, like literally fell in love with the place. It was like this, like I had been hearing about how Moab is like the mountain bike capital of the world, and like from Michigan, and I lived in another resort town in Montana, and I was like, okay, there's probably so much hype there. Started mountain biking here in 2020, and I was like, yeah, this is it. And I think part of like being the working class person here in Moab, you want to have you want, if you want to live here, you do have to kind of like have to figure it out. And I would say that this is not a Moab specific problem of not being able to afford where you're living. But the things that make it a Moab problem are kind of unique to Moab. And as somebody that wants to live here and work here, I guess I would say that the fact that, actually maybe you can correct me on this, is there's 1/4 of homes in Grand County that are second homes.
Third.
One third. That is insane to me. One quarter is insane to me. And just that fact alone, knowing that and like being like, dang, I want to like make it work here, but like there's a bunch of these Airbnbs, these homes that are Airbnbs and vacant and VRBOs and whatever. that kind of like sort of gets me going on how my whole mentality on like what Moab's problems are.
Do you feel like there's opportunities here?
No.
As far as working, do you? Yeah, like you're gonna.
Nah.
You're talking about leaving.
I am leaving. Hell yeah.
I know a lot of kids leave. Are all your friends leaving?
Oh yeah.
Graduating?
They're out of here.
Mm-hmm.
They're all going to the U or SUU, which is like the evil one.
Yeah. And did Jason Taylor on his episode, did he say his kid's getting out of here and he was like happy about that?
Yeah. He
Dude,
said that.
that's sad.
No,
man.
it's not.
I mean, okay, like
it's not. It's sad if they don't necessarily don't feel they can come back.
if they don't feel like they.
But Moab
can
doesn't
come
have a
back.
university that's big or like a trade school or anywhere like you can necessarily learn like if like I can't learn filmmaking in Moab like at college.
Well, yeah,
so
you
I'm
go
going
out
to
and
Salt
you do
Lake.
your college thing, but like if you wanted to come back in the
I feel like a lot
community
of
that you
people
grew
feel
up
they
in.
can do that.
Okay.
Like they could. I don't know if
They
everyone
want- if they
wants
wanted
to.
I just think there's like you could be like, well, there's opportunity in like tourism,
Yeah, it's
Sure.
all tourism.
right?
Sure, it's like a
Or,
silo.
or working for the government.
Well, you usually have
Well-
to be educated for.
Well, I
that.
guess like after if you come back, there's the working for the government opportunity.
Yeah.
My dream is
Hey.
to be the county or either city or county social media organizer when I come back. I'm starting my campaign.
Wait, you want to come back?
I want to come back and then I
Okay,
want to do.
now I'll stay. I'll have to figure it out.
I'm gonna come
If
back
Oscar's
in 4
staying, I'm
years.
not gonna go gentrify Nucla.
Oh my God! Please don't gentrify Nuclear. They've had it hard enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well, it's just.
I don't know.
I want to be the
I
social
don't-
media coordinator for the city or the
Do
county.
you think there's opportunity here?
Oh, well, this is the weird thing. I was coming from Central America
Okay.
and coming up here.
Midwest?
No, Central America.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Oh.
I was living in Costa Rica, and I would come
Yeah.
up here and work.
Yeah.
And when you're like I was swinging a machete for like $2 an hour.
Yeah, I remember you telling me
And
this
like
story.
when you like come up here from that mentality, you're like, oh, like I mean, I remember telling my neighbor, like I would come up here and work and go down, and I do all these side jobs, and I was like cleaning toilets for like $25 an hour,
Yeah.
starting to do little
Yeah.
custodial things.
Yeah.
In my like redneck rancher equivalent of redneck rancher friends down there were like, dude, I'll quit everything. I'll cross that border on my knees
Yeah, to go do that.
clean toilets for $25 an
Yeah.
hour, and they had awesome lifestyles, like riding horseback and tending their cattle every day, you know.
So
So
interesting. I wonder if that's because the people in other countries know that they can kind of work themselves up to be an owner. And going back to your question of like, do you think there's opportunity here? And we agree that it's in tourism.
I mean, we had the conversation with Howard where it's really even harder to do that in the UK. We had a whole conversation with Howard about like you be born into classes,
Yeah.
and how it's like however hard it may be in America,
Yeah.
it's like more institutionalized.
well,
Right.
and-
Latin America has this like rigid class structure where it's like there's the very wealthy, and then there's like this peasants.
Yeah.
And I mean, I had guys working for me that it was so ingrained in them to be like this peasant mentality where it was like, no, like manage all my money for me. I live at your place and like manage my money and give me like an allowance on the weekend where I can just like go nuts and drink.
Yeah.
Like you give me $20 and no matter how much I beg, don't give me $1 more on the Saturday.
Right.
It's strange.
That is different.
Yeah.
And like I would say here locally, if we want to make it work, I see a lot of people doing this, is like, if you want to make it work here, you kind of have to think about like, okay, I might start a small business, you know? That's one way to make it work, because that way you're not getting your labor exploited, so you don't have a really, really shitty low wage. And like low key, man, like I know a lot of small business owners here in town, and they have really good hearts, and they
Here we
You
go.
can't hate the players. You got, you know. You
it's
have
the
to-
game.
Yeah.
It's the game. This
Right.
guy taught me that. Don't hate the players, hate the game.
I tell you that.
I'm trying more and more, but at the same time, It's like when you become a business owner, you are committing to exploiting somebody else's labor and you're profiting off of it, and then you can live in the place that you want to live in. And like low key, I could do that. I could probably ask a family member to be like, I have this really good business idea, or maybe I don't even have a business idea. Maybe somebody's selling a shuttle company, and I could be like, Dad, this is a thing that would work. Would you help me? Would you invest in me?
Yeah, give me a starter loan, you know? Yeah, give me a starter loan.
And like I could do that, but also I kind of see at the same time, like, I don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't think it's...
What is the right thing to do? That's why
I think the right thing to do is to not be afraid. Everybody's fucking afraid of losing their jobs or losing their careers, and they're doing these things that are like, I can't risk. And like, I don't blame them 100%, because it's like, okay, you build your life around your career. You go and work on a house, and you like, and maybe it's a CR house because you're only a manager in Grand County, and that's pretty pathetic that that like a manager within the county still has to go through a program like CR to build a house. And it's like, okay, so you do that, and like, I kind of don't blame them, but at the same time, it's like, if everybody just wasn't afraid to say, like, to put themselves out there and say, this stuff is wrong, and I'm not going to do that, but like, low-key, that's like, is that realistic?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking kind of like an organization of like a organizational thing, and you know, I mean, not that's possible. So I just have questions like this too, like, you know, you live in a house with roommates, right? And you're kind of like the guide class of Moab, right? Would you say?
We're equal with them, I would say. Yeah.
Like, what do you do for work and stuff?
I build trails for Grand County.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
And
but
then, like,
I was a guide.
What's like your roommates do then?
One of my roommates also works for the county in like a planning type of job.
Uh-huh.
And then my other roommate is a guide, and then one roommate that just moved in is very into the outdoors, but does like a work from home thing.
So that's 4 roommates.
Yeah.
How many bathrooms?
1, 2, 3 bathrooms.
Luxury.
3 bathrooms.
It's a big house.
3, yeah.
It's
cool.
a big house.
It's a cool house.
Yeah.
It's a cool house.
Yeah, but it's for sale.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's like cheap, kind of like, because it's for sale, and there's like things that don't work and whatever. But
right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a little substandard, but it's kind of like I think a lot of Moab people can relate to that. Like, I had that period of time in my life, and like, what's the how much?
What's my expiration date?
No. Oh. Like, how much you're paying for that?
My room. Okay, so the room that I pay for is $550 a month, and I have my own personal bathroom. The room is really small, but there's a bathroom connected to it. And then I think everybody else's room is a little bit less depending on where it is, or like the same. One room in the house doesn't have a door, so like that would be really cheap. If someone lived in there, we could have another roommate. But this is an interesting conversation, because I feel like what you're bringing up is like the conversations that we're having is, how much money do people make at their jobs, and how much do they pay to live here?
Yeah.
And they're directly related, and I would say, like, to fix the problem of being able to like want to be able to stay here for the people that do want to stay here, we have to be looking at both of those things. So it's on the business owners.
Right.
And I would personally be more stoked to put more pressure on the corporate business owners that don't live here.
Right. Like, what do we owe them?
Yeah.
You're making money in this town.
You are literally extracting from a place that you do not belong in. You're not here. And that's why, like, the Cane Creek stuff infuriates me.
Yeah, let's dive into that one. But you're gonna finish. So there's one side.
So there's the extraction of labor of corporate people that don't live here, like big, huge chain hotels, maybe franchises, whatever. And then there's like landlords. There's corporate landlords that don't live here. There's talk about the LIHTC program. Is like there's these people that don't live here, low-key, my old landlord was a cool dude. He owns probably 9 or 10 properties in town. He's selling them off, so maybe not that much anymore. But he was a cool dude, but he didn't live here. And I was just like, dude, like, you have all these properties, like, people could own those. It's just the middleman, man. It's just like, cut out the middleman.
I always felt that rent, like, was an unimaginative way to, like, make money. And you know what I'm saying? Like that capital could be used solving problems, right? Like that could happen. But there's also this thing.
You mean problems with the property?
No, with money.
Okay.
Right? Money solves problems.
Okay.
Right? Let's say, we need to make a better bike. So we put research into it. We put money into it. And so that's a creative use of money. Mm-hmm. Right? And like rent-seeking behavior with capital is like, well, I'm just charging for this space because I own it.
It's what do they call it?
There's this argument though. It's like
passive income.
Right. So and it's like, hey, you're retired. This was your whole nest egg. It's almost like this Yeoman farmer of rentals. Like this old man owned 9. Okay. Like it wasn't like he was Vanguard or BlackRock.
Yeah, right.
Owning a whole neighborhood.
But it's the same mentality.
Yeah, it's the same mentality.
And
right.
and I'll say, like, my dad is a landlord, and like, so I have close family members who do this, and when I was thinking about what am I going to do next, because unfortunately, as a guide, as a multi-day mountain bike guide, I am not paid actually as a professional to the level where I can afford to live here. So I have to figure something else out. And my options were, okay, like I could go, like my brother makes a lot of money. He went to college for engineering, he's a salesman now. He like transferred in, climbed a ladder, whatever. He's making a bunch of money. My dad has always been like, this is how you do it. These are the steps. You can go to school, you can work for corporate, you can kind of like do the ragtag landlord thing like I do. And I was like, okay, I have to figure something out because I want to live in Moab and I need to make more money. So I kind of went down that road a little bit. I read, I'm like on these Bigger Pockets forums. I don't know if you know what that is. Like,
no clue.
It's okay. So there's Bigger Pockets, and then there's like these books that people put out that are like literally step by step how to become a landlord, and it's actually pretty easy. But the easy ticket to get there is like you have to have some capital to get into it.
Yeah.
And so this whole game of like work hard and then you can get a house and then you can get some tenants and it's passive income. It's actually pretty easy to get there if you're already a little bit more well off. And so I just I kind of see it from a different perspective, and I'm like, I don't know if that's the right thing to do. And so I was like, maybe software engineering would be the right thing to do. So
Wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, I do build websites on the side. If anybody wants a website, I think it's really fun, and I like to do it. So I'll do it.
Does your generation use websites?
No,
Oscar?
we all.
That's what I find
we just talk to
interesting.
each other now.
Oh,
Well,
that's great.
No, we don't.
I find that
we
to be really
communicate
cool.
telepathically.
Well, I like websites
through
because
telepathy systems.
here's the problem with social media. Like a lot of things are.
Mark Zuckerberg does delivery doves for messages now.
Oh,
so we all use that.
oh, doves.
Doves.
I didn't know he was into that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they got into it.
Yeah.
ChatGPT is all doves now too. You have to tie your message to a carrier dove.
Hey,
Wow.
can you look at our time going on?
Oh.
We should be fine.
You have
It's
it
like
right
10 more minutes.
now? Oh, 10 minutes. Okay.
Probably. Let me look.
Cool.
10
This is gonna be the
minutes.
worst
Okay,
one so
let's.
far.
It's the worst one.
What are you talking about? I
You're
like
gonna
it.
have to do a lot of cuts, probably.
What? No.
I'll help.
You're too
Oh.
lazy doing cuts.
I'm too lazy to do cuts. This is gonna be a very casual. I think Shop Talk is gonna take a very casual tone.
No, this is interesting
Now that
because
we've
you're the young generation. I'm like,
Yeah.
What,
the
we're
younger
interviewing me
people-
now?
what?
What, we're
Yeah.
interviewing me now?
No,
You're
we gotta
leaving.
do an interview.
You're leaving, Oscar.
Me?
You don't
Aw.
count anymore. You know?
Yeah, I don't count.
You're like a lame duck of
Aww.
Moab.
Yeah. I got like 8 more months in me.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So we will come back. Anyways, So
What do you think?
I'm just kind of like, you know, the new kids coming in, they live in density. Do they, are they working a lot? Like, I had some younger roommates, and they were like, yeah, we just...
He sees you as the kids, as a general concept. You're like young people.
Well, there was this trade-off where
You're
it's like
10 years
you
younger.
tried to work as least as possible.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was kind of like a ski town, but like you still had to work. And then I had roommates. I mean, I don't charge a lot for my house, like rooms and stuff. And it was kind of like, oh, we feel like we have to work all the time now. And they were kind of like saying there was a change. Like how, like, are you and your friends group here? You're here to like, what brought you here? Recreation.
What brought me to Moab?
Yeah, like community. Like, what did you like about the landscape?
Parties, power, politics.
That is kind of a decent
Do you know why I
summary.
said that?
Why?
Because that's what Edward Hildenbrand told me.
All
He
three.
told me
at the
those
same time.
three when I was talking to him one day.
Yeah.
Shout
Party,
out.
power, politics. Okay.
That's what
I
you
mean,
like.
like in an abstract way, I think all of those do relate, but that's not like that's
The
not
gambling
my,
debt.
That
You had to
wasn't my
escape.
why.
You had to
Yeah,
escape the
you were a
gambling
bike
debts.
tourist.
My why was
You had to escape the gambling debts to the cartels.
Yeah, exactly. No, I would say like the reason I came or wanted to stay in Moab was because I was kind of like low-key, I was burnt out. I was like tired of going all across western United States, like traveling around and doing these mountain bike tours and pretending that I was happy all the time when I was like kind of crabby most of the time. And I was like, I don't know what to do next. And so I had been working at bike shops in the wintertime during the off season of the bike guiding. And I was like just really into bikes, just really into mountain biking. It was my passion. And I felt like Moab was just where I had the most fun, most connected to myself and the land of like any
Before
place
the
I've ever
accident.
ridden. I fell in love with mountain biking in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and then I went to Whitefish, Montana, lived there for a while, rode bikes out there. It was really cool. That's where everybody was like, Moab, off season, gotta go to Moab. It's so cool. And I was like, the hype cannot be that real. Then I came here, rode some bikes, and it was just like, yeah, the hype is real.
Hype's
like
not
it
real.
is the most fun place to ride bikes.
Man.
And
I always said it was hard riding made easy.
yeah, I like that.
The traction, like,
Yeah.
if this was wet and in the east, you'd be like sliding all over
Oh my
the
gosh,
place.
yeah.
Yeah.
Eating shit every day.
Moab's the worst. Bad.
No, it's super fun.
I
Love
want
the
this to be
trails, love the
recorded.
mountain biking.
No, like, I think our mountain bike, like, it draws, I mean, that's kind of like, I always say shit rolls downhill. I just kept rolling downhill, riding my bike here, and then living here.
Yeah. And it was cool to listen. I'm excited to listen to the other episodes, but it was cool to listen to Jason. He's also into bikes, and like I feel like these like recreational sports that we have can like connect people in the community. But I also don't want to lose them. You know, I don't want everybody to be so poor and like scrapping around, so that they're not able to do
Moab
that.
Fight Club is now taking
Moab Fight Club, yeah.
applicants, by the way, if anyone's
Oh.
interested. The Aaron Lindberg,
Oh,
he
yeah.
leads Moab Fight Club.
Yeah, I'm just going to have bum fights.
In the Village Market parking
How are we
lot.
on time, by the way, bud?
Like 5 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, we gotta wrap up soon.
Yeah, no, it goes fast.
It does go fast.
Yeah.
Do you Did you have a favorite episode so far?
I mean, you know, it's a lot learning. I actually listen to a lot of things on how to interview people and how to talk to people.
Wow.
And my girlfriend's a therapist, so
Okay,
she was
okay.
like, hey, you need to, like, I was like, how do you ask questions really well?
Okay.
And, like, that's a skill, because I'm sitting here listening to you, and I'm like, what should I pick up on? What should I ask about?
Sure.
What should I press you
Yeah,
about?
yeah.
You know, and it's just, I'm kind of curious, and follow your own curiosity, because, you know, you're in this group also of Moab Mutual Aid.
Mm-hmm.
And what I find very interesting is how organized you guys are. Like, I kind of see myself in a lot of, like, you know, you guys were living in a guide house, and my house is like barely not a guide house.
Yeah.
It kind of
Borderline.
is still. Yeah. And I mean, it could be very much. It just depends on who's living here.
Yeah.
So, it's just kind of like there's a different vibe
Mm-hmm.
to the younger kids these days.
Okay.
You guys have a political bent. You guys have different money concerns.
Yeah.
Your jobs are different.
Yeah.
And I just kind of want, that's what I want to know about, because you got, all us Gen Xers that came in here, we didn't give a shit about politics. I didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, all these younger kids are, into it.
Mm-hmm.
And you guys got different ideas.
I wonder if it's because...
You need to be.
So here, I've actually been thinking about this a lot, is that there, more and more so, if you see what's going on and you choose not to be a part of it, whether or not you're able to have your parents or somebody that help you get into the game. I'm going to call it the game.
Yeah.
If you've got somebody that can help you get into the game and you refuse to do it,
you become downwardly mobile.
Or exactly, 100%. Or if you are one of those people that this person that refuses to go into the game, or if you're one of these people that can't even get into the game because they don't have parents that are wealthy enough to help them start a business, or they don't have parents that can even help them go to college. There's a really large population of people that are like that, and I think more and more there are enough people that understand what's going on, and they're like, dang, I'm going to work. I'm going to 9 to 5 work Monday through Friday, and I can't afford to live where I work.
Yeah.
And or I'm struggling.
9 to 10 and working weekends.
Yeah, maybe you have 2 jobs, and you're like, okay, and God forbid you have a kid. God forbid you're a person or a minority of color, or there's, and you have to get through life like that. And I just think that there's a lot of people waking up right now that are like, this isn't right, as the wealthiest country on earth, that people have to live like this. And so I think what is starting to happen is people are like, I don't have much to lose. Low key, I'm on this recording. I'm not running for office. I'm in a freaking costume right now, and I'm going to say how I feel because I don't have a lot to lose. I don't have to win somebody over. I'm not trying to be like, oh, this thing is super wrong, and or being a politician is hard because you have to pretend like you're trying to get certain votes, but there's a lot of people that are like I don't care anymore. If I have to leave here, I don't know, I'll figure it out. But I feel like once you start to realize that you don't have a lot to lose, you can speak more freely and be a little bit more colorful and try to make change. And I think that's what Moab Mutual Aid kind of is been doing, is a bunch of people.
Oh, geez, what do you want to ask me?
I want to ask what it was like for you growing up. What were your parents like? How did you develop your worldview?
Now we're interviewing Aaron?
Yeah, why not? Aaron?
Because you're the...
I'm not anything, man.
I grew up in rural Ohio, and my dad was a Lutheran minister, but he was more of a social activist in of that generation. He was born in 1928. And so you joined the church because you were a social activist, which I think is funny now. If you're a social activist, you're almost secular, right? You're almost, anti-religion, and religion code's very right-wing in a lot of ways. Not all of them, but a lot of, to me it does.
Yeah, a lot of them.
It's you're wearing a cross, you code right.
Yeah.
And my dad would have said Jesus was a communist Jew.
Yeah.
That's what he would say.
Yeah.
But he worked in prisons, and he worked in hospitals. And what's funny is, I think you get influenced by your parents in ways that just, is it nature or nurture? The greatest thing, I remember this as little, we had a redneck, Bible-thumping Baptist church by us that my grandparents would go to, and they were this is in the height of gay panic, in the late 80s, you know, like
Yeah.
I remember
yeah.
Jerry Falwell had a sign, AIDS is the cure for
Yeah,
fags.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
the my sister's lesbian, and he went to this small church, and he knew the sermon program, and this guy preachers up there. I was a kid, so I don't remember it.
Yeah.
And my dad stood up, and he just started like laying into the minister, and like basically said he was full of shit.
Oh my god.
And he like grabbed me, and we're this town I grew up in. We grew up outside of this town, but it has a convenience store and like 200 people, a trailer park.
This is where you grew
This
up.
is where I grew up.
Rural.
Very
America.
rural, Ohio. Like my grandparents farmed corn and soybeans.
Wow.
And he took me out of that church. I remember we were in the front pew and walking down and like knowing everybody, being related to everybody, and just being like, "Oh shit!" Like I didn't get what was going on, but it was like that was cool.
Wow.
You know, and I grew up in this Christian Coalition moment, and I was like the Marilyn Manson listening kid.
Huh.
And I don't know what got into me.
Yeah. How'd you?
I
mean,
always
are you
felt
still...
like things were messed up.
Sure.
And I went to a very radical school,
Okay.
Antioch College, and it was like my year and a half at Antioch was like, oh, this is why it's messed up. This is economic systems. I didn't like class wasn't taught.
Huh.
Like class dynamics weren't taught. It was like we were just all like, you know, like I grew up in a school of 2,000 because we're rural, but it was a big school district.
Yeah.
There was not one black kid in our school. And it was just like we were all kind of middle class
Okay.
kids. I remember like there was one kind of poor kid,
Yeah.
but
yeah.
everybody else. And so I went to college, and I was just like, oh, this is messed up. And I met my ex-wife on this like, you would work and study, and my ex-wife, they were like these. They were the first organic farm in Michigan. They were like these radical hippies that were like, they're like, oh no, like her grandfather had met Mahatma Gandhi, and their motto was like, you gotta be the change you want to see, and we're just believe in organic agriculture.
That's cool.
And so I got really into organic agriculture.
Sure.
And you know, I was come up from a family that was like, you sprayed Roundup.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
Yeah.
they're like the anti-Monsanto.
Yeah,
Like
and you know, and it's like my grandfather just kind of was like.
wow.
You know, like, no, you know, you can't feed the world on organic.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
it was like, oh, well, we're getting crop yields similar to yours with organic methods.
Right.
So that's kind of my background
Interesting.
on that.
That's
And
so
then,
interesting.
you know, I ended up looking for my own farm and going to Latin America.
Okay.
And I ended up befriending, like, real communists that were, like, funded by the Cuban, like, they were, like,
They had their own pool separate from the government, or was the government communist?
They were, no, well, Costa Rica's, like, I would say is like a capitalist socialist.
Yeah.
It's probably kind of like how we were in the 50s.
Okay.
Even more so. But they had sequestered 10,000 acres of land, these communists I ended up befriending, from United Fruit Company. And when you do that, you have things like what happened in Guatemala. Like you had the CIA start like invading.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but you had this influence from Nicaragua, the Sanatista movement. These people knew like they were communists, and they sequestered their land through Cuba with Russian money through the Catholic Church. And I started hanging out with them, and I was like,
That's crazy.
oh, this is like they kind of taught me like class consciousness. They'd always call me imperialist because I like took money I was supposed to go to school with,
Right.
and like bought a farm with it instead. And they were like, "This is the most imperialistic."
Yeah,
You're like kind of scum, but like you're all right.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
You're a moron. You don't know
You're
what
like
you're
petty
doing.
bourgeoisie.
Yeah, like they kind of rolled their eyes, and I worked hard, and that was their currency. You know, anybody who says communists don't work hard should meet these guys and swing a machete.
Yeah.
You know, barefoot
Yeah.
for $2 an hour.
Yeah.
So that's
Wow.
kind of my background.
Okay, so I have a question for both of you.
Uh-oh.
Do you believe that there is such thing as a middle class?
Probably.
Probably. What is it?
Well, you know, sorry, what are you going to say? You think it's like an income bracket, or is it you're born into it?
I haven't studied money.
What do you think?
What do I think?
Like,
I
a
think
lot
they
of politics,
exist.
bro.
Are
Like
they
a lot of
teaching this
politics
in
is
school?
vibes.
Oh,
It's
I
vibes.
like vibes.
Yeah, like vibes.
Vibes.
Do you think there's a middle class? Do you
I think
there's
it's
middle class?
interesting that in England, my sister lives in England,
Yeah.
and there's working class, and then there's middle class.
Okay.
Like there's this extra class distinction.
I think it like technically in like Marxist terms they would call it petty bourgeoisie.
Yeah, yeah.
I-
then
I-
you had the elites, the
Uh-huh.
real bourgeois,
Uh-huh.
and I think it's funny in England they have way more class. Like every country I've gone to has way more class consciousness. I just think it's funny in America.
Interesting.
We don't teach this.
We
Like
don't talk about it.
I mean, I went to school and being like, what? I mean, being like, yeah, I didn't know. I never heard middle class
Yeah.
before.
I
you
think
know?
learning the terms and learning the vocabulary has gotten me to see the world in a certain way where it makes me like understand it more to the point where I'm like, oh, and it's still fucked up. You know, like, and I don't know if America like purposely does that. Probably to a certain extent, because like once you learn more, you're gonna want to change it probably. But I don't really spend time in European countries, so I don't know what it's like over there.
Yeah. And you know, we talk politics. I mean,
Yeah.
you're involved. You know, we all. It's controversial. You're in the planning commission and stuff. You're probably
Controversy.
not going to get reappointed. I mean, do you think so? I mean,
No, I mean, I'm like maybe I'll apply again, just to see what happens, but I don't expect.
You'll get CISO'd. They're gonna get you.
Yeah,
You're like,
no, I mean,
Aaron,
it's
as he
a 4
plunges
to
the
3
dagger
majority.
through your
You know, the
Uh-huh.
political
stomach.
majority is gonna axe me, and that might be because like that's probably for a lot of reasons. I've pissed them off, and I don't know. I the thing is, I care, dude. I really do care about the people in this community, and I think there are a handful of those 4. Like out of those 4 people, I think some of them are we would be on the same page.
that are against
4
you.
people is a
that are
handful.
Uh-huh.
4
So-
people is a handful, yeah.
Yeah. So, like, what do you see? You know, like you're involved in the Cane Creek thing. How do you want to continue involvement, or are you gonna stay at Moab? Like, you know.
I go back and forth. I think the Cane Creek thing has been a lot more than I ever thought it was going to be, and I'm the type of person that is like, I need to go to meetings. I like the MMA Moab Mutual Aid thing is like pretty successful because we all are committing to going to these meetings, and we're like, this is free time, by the way. No one's getting paid, and we're doing things in the community. And it happens because we have these regular meetings and we're all just like amped up afterwards and we're going to do stuff. With the Cane Creek stuff and just like living in Moab in general, I think that I need the support of like we all need each other to make this happen, and like we're not going down without a fight, and it's happening. At the same time, it's kind of like you feel some burnout, and you're like, okay, you start looking in different directions. You're like, is Moab realistic? Should I go somewhere else? You just start to question things, and I think I'm at that point where I'm committed, but like more momentum and support and like regular people showing up to certain things would help a lot, you know.
But you have like a community here, like, you know, I find
friends
like
here.
organization
Yeah.
like is a powerful thing. And
Yeah.
What have you learned about like your evolution in the past few years? Like Cane
Locally?
Creek. Yeah, like what have you learned about like
So
fighting developers and
Sure.
stuff like that?
I would say I've came to Moab with a mindset of that things are fucked up. Government is fucked up. Government doesn't really look out for us, whether it's the right or the left. They're captured by special interests. They do not advocate for the working class. I came to Moab with that mindset. And to be honest, I was like on a bike packing trip. I was escaping all of that because Bernie Sanders was shafted by the DNC. And I phone banked for him and I canvassed for him.
Which time? When Hillary did it, or
2016?
2016.
2016
Yeah.
was like when I gave up, and then there was like a little bit of a resurgence in 2020,
Yeah.
and after that I was like, there is no hope. I lost all hope. I was really down in the dumps, and where I put my energy and passion into was bikes because of that, and I was like, this is what makes me happy. I can go out into the canyons, I can go out into the forests, roads, and just ride around by myself and just check out of all this shit that's happening, because it infuriated me. And I came to Moab kind of like with that baggage a little bit, but I was trying to like shed it. I was like, this doesn't matter. You know, national politics is so disconnected and I can't make a change anyway. My vote doesn't fucking matter. I go to canvass for this president and nothing happens, and it's just like the powers that be are so strong that I gave up. And I was like, I'm just going to go be a multi-day mountain bike guy because I like biking and it's really fun, and that's what gave me fulfillment. And so coming to Moab with that, and then what it was so I eventually was like transferred into living in a home, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start renting because the guide life was like, whatever, too exhausted. I'm gonna see what I can do in this town. Started renting, and when I started renting, the Moab Times independent stories started coming up, and they just started showing up on our kitchen table because they just produced the fucking newspapers. And I read a newspaper, and I was like, oh, what's happening in the world? I was just like drinking some coffee in the morning or whatever. Okay, so these Cane Creek developers passed a law with HB 22 in the state of Utah. And my mind immediately, like my little fucking alert alarms were like, what? What does this mean? What does this mean? HB 22, state of Utah passes a law where the Cane Creek developers can, or not specifically, like didn't say Cane Creek developers, but it was a law that was so specific to that development that benefited them. And I can go into what exactly it was, but it was just like so maddening. And I brought it to my roommates, who were the only people there that were like listening to me, infuriated. I was like, this is so insane. What do you think about this? This is crazy. And they're like, dude, that is crazy. And I like would ride my bike down Cane Creek Road thinking about, okay, these really powerful, rich people were able to get the state of Utah to pass a law to allow them to create their own special service district without any oversight of the county that property is in. Tell me how that is not corruption.
So it's not necessarily about the property, although it's beautiful place. It's sensitive. It's an awesome spot.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm like a little bit of an environmentalist.
Yeah.
But my whole thing is like
about the abuse of power. That's what it is.
And that's like how I got into the planning commission. This whole thing, like, I'm not passionate about zones. I'm not passionate about overlays. I don't really fucking care to know about that stuff. But it's like what it is how all of that is manipulated by people who are already in power, who have the power, who change laws to favor them, and then the consequences that
abuse of power. I mean, that to me is like end game capitalism.
Yeah.
Is when you change the rules.
That is what it is. That's the whole problem, and it's like when we have unregulated, unfettered capitalism, and like low key, the definition that you're trying to say is like neoliberalism is unregulated capitalism, like. We do have regulated capitalism, but it's always in the favor of the richest people in the world.
Right.
We give them tax breaks. The government doesn't charge them taxes, or or they can make these laws and stuff, like because they have like political alliances or whatever, and a bunch of money for lobbying.
Yeah, you're right. It's regulations.
It's regulations, but it's in favor of the people that already have a bunch of money and power, and so like.
So you feel like this gives you purpose and fires you up and gets you going in the morning. Do you just have to have a purpose in life? Is that kind of your thing?
1,000%.
What is your purpose?
1,000%. I think from a
Just
young
engaged in the fight.
From a young age, I realized that there were like at a music festival once. I haven't told this story to a lot of people, but there was a music festival one time where I went to, and like at these music festivals, people get like pretty messed up. They do their own thing. They like whatever. and there was this woman.
No way.
Yeah, that's what they do. Believe it or not. So I was like really into this partying scene, and there was like 1,000 people going to this stage, just like droves of people going to this stage. I don't even remember. Maybe it was like Humphreys McGee or something like that. They're just walking straight to the stage, and there's like some vendors on the side, like selling hot dogs and cotton candy or whatever. And I'm like walking towards the stage because I want to go see the show too. And there's a woman curled up in a ball, passed the fuck out, in the middle of a dirt, it's just like a dirt lot. And people in droves with their friends and their groups of people are just like walking around her. This
is kind of like your people.
Right. And I'm like, and I'm like watching these people in droves walk around this woman. And I'm like, does this woman have any friends? Where are her people? No one is talking to her. She is either dead or passed out or she needs water or something. And I walked up to her and I was like, hey, I'm like trying to wake her up. Hey, are you okay? And I'm like witnessing everybody walk around her. I'm like, what is going on? But I feel like it's just like sort of a reflection of what we are seeing today in life in general. It's so easy to just like walk by and not look at the problems that are happening. And it's like people's lives are on the line, dude. Like you can go up to these people and say, hey, I've got water. By the way, this is where you are. This is your location. There's a show that's about to happen. Do you need help? Where are your people? Like, just like show up for people that are not as well off as you, you know? Like there are 1,000 and a million tons of reasons why people are down and poor and depressed or addicted to drugs or like whatever, and it's so easy for everybody to just like shut their mind off and be like, no, you know what, I'm going to provide for me and my own. I'm going to provide for me and my family. And while that is somewhat noble, it's also like we're all in this together, dude.
I've heard everybody's a socialist or everybody's a like you have a small baby, are you going to start charging the baby rent? Like where is your circle of compassion? Is it your family? Is it humanity at large? It's like these are issues.
Yeah.
One of the things I just think that the younger generations, as wealth is getting sucked up more and more towards the top, the younger generations aren't getting the distribution, and I just see like drug epidemics and all this are failures of purpose, right? Like. These are people that just were marginal. Before, maybe if we had better distribution of wealth, they'd be marginal. But the margins are pushed.
Yep.
And they just fell off.
Yep, 100%.
And
yeah,
that's kind of how I kind of think about. I think about every day. There's 100% of humanity woke up today, but only 97 is going to pass through the door to tomorrow. So 3% died off, right? In that is like an evolutionary factor or how things work.
Sure.
And we have to control that, how many pass through the door every day and what makes the door as open as possible.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I've always
And I feel like today, like these days, the door is kind of closing. It's getting like closer and closer to a certain person.
We have throwaway people that are homeless. It's just kind of like, it's like okay, like they just don't have purpose, Maybe the most humane thing is they do not live. I don't know.
We're getting dark.
Yeah. No, these are like real questions.
Yeah.
You mean the marginalized people of society is the best thing is that they don't.
No, I mean you got to just view what's. I don't mean to come at like eugenics place, but it's like, is there salvation? Like realistically, 1 in, I don't know the stats, like 1 in 20 is going to be like salvageable, and the rest are just going is a wretched spiral down the drain.
I mean, I feel like what is, if we're getting philosophical with it, is like, what is the purpose of living? And I think. Like what most people want to do, most people want to make the world a better place. So whether that's
according to their circle, that's what I think.
Sure, or which includes their family and their friends and like whatever. If you are able to expand that mindset into like human beings and the world and the like include the environment and the animals, like you to make the world a better place, like we have to figure out capitalism.
Mm-hmm.
We have to figure out a better system that is like there's these very, very tiny minority of people that have multiple private jets and yachts and stuff, and we're the wealthiest country on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
We can regulate certain things to like bring that wealth back down to us, and it's not low income housing tax credit housing. It's not being...
I feel like it's opportunity. It's like not handouts, but you're like, and some people are just gonna need handouts, right? Like there's no thing around it. Like my dad called him PM.
What's a handout to you?
My dad called them poor miserable bastards. He was a social worker, and he was like, there's just a percentage of humanity.
The welfare class.
Like
people
just, you're street homeless. Like they're just, you're going to feed them, and tomorrow you're going to feed them, and maybe, they're just the lumpkin proletariat, I guess. And that's fine. Whatever. We're just going to have that. But
even if wealth was distributed evenly, like...
Well, here's my thing. I think humans need to have that struggle. And and it's like, hey,
to make the world a better place.
Right. If we don't have that struggle, what's our purpose? And it's, to me, it's like, okay, but what we're talking about is those struggles aren't they're not there. You can't, okay, if I can't better myself, then what the hell? I'm going to find, that's where I think this addiction stuff is happening, is because people can't find meaning.
Yeah.
And meaning, I mean, honestly, a lot of people find meaning in making money, and
they do.
Money's like this participation in society.
Yeah.
So I'm talking too much. I need to let you talk.
No, I don't. I think this is like a really great conversation that of a lot of things that I've been just thinking about a lot lately. Like, I just think that the things that are happening, there's like global things that happen, and then there's national things that happen, and then there's like regional things that happen, and then there's state things that happen, and then there's local things that happen, and for me every layer of that, from global to national to regional to state to local, all of the problems that we're seeing, I critique through a lens of anti-capitalism. And I have been a little hesitant to be outspoken about it because it's not popular, and maybe it's not popular within the people that kind of run the show right now. So I think that there should be more people that are speaking out about it, that are experiencing it. Maybe you're also participating in it, and like you can carve out your own corner. For example, if you're like a local small business owner, you could you could talk to your workers and say, like, how can we make this a better, more equitable work environment for you guys to come back every year? Like, what can we do about that? And then I think, like, if you're moving up forward in a state thing, like Utah is sort of fucked. I don't really know what to do about that. And then there's like nationally, it's like you could vote Democrat or Republican, and that's all you got. You've got like the oligarchs and the corporatists, and that's all you got. I personally think the people that are fed up with the oligarchs, that are kind of like leaning towards the corporatists, which I call the Democrats. Like, if you're leaning that way, I would say stop voting for the lesser of two evils. Although you could see that as being a handout to an oligarch. I just think that like if we want to make change, vote for the people that you think are gonna actually represent you.
Right.
Like I don't want to talk about local stuff, but like I'm like, yeah, I'll probably show up on election day, but like if I miss it,
you don't feel like anybody really talked to you? Like
locally, I don't feel represented. State, definitely not. Locally, I feel like we can make change here. Like, someone can run, someone can represent these types of people like me. But I don't necessarily feel like that's on the table. I feel like there's an opportunity, but it's not there. Miles has been the most interesting to me, and Jason actually too. Just because I ran into him, and this is the part of politics where it's like, go out into the community and meet these people and talk to them and like talk about real issues. And I just sort of ran into Jason Taylor at the Moab Hoedown mountain bike enduro race, and just was like, left the conversation being like, wow, that guy is like, he's actually seems like a genuine nice human being.
He's genuine, but he's not in your political interest or your monetary interest.
I would say
he's a business class. You know?
I would say people that are managers and owners of the businesses have conflicting interests with the people that live in their cars that work at those businesses, or employee housing. Yeah. They have conflicting interests. And while I respect Jason a lot, after listening to his episode, I was like, dang, that is a politician that is trying to bring back politics that were like old school of like, we're going to work together and figure this out, like honestly, and there's no like weird like conflicting special interest groups behind me. It's like, he's still an owner or like a manager of a business, but he like kind of probably has the right values to like work with that. There's a lot of people that just like aren't gonna be like that are so I don't know. I wish there was an option where it was like, this is like the people that like who are getting ticketed for living in their cars on the streets, who are getting ticketed. I was in a ride along with law enforcement not too long ago, in the last year and a half, and we have you ever done a ride along with a cop? You've done a ride along?
I was trying to be a cop.
Wow.
Before I became a plumber, I was like, I'm going to be a cop.
You were going to be a cop?
Because I was like, I was looking for, I got divorced 1 minute.
Yeah.
And I came back here and I'm like, I'm not going to work in a bike shop anymore.
Yeah.
So I was like, was doing ride-alongs with the cops, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Because, just Obama had said, hey, you got a problem with the police force? Become one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And it's kind of like politics, too. It's like, you don't like what you're seeing? Go out there and be somebody. We got to wrap it up.
Where do you want to kind of end things? You know? I mean, you kind of had some moments here in the past year. You had some big, you've been in the paper a lot. You had some great moments. I mean, like, one thing, what I was thinking, I wanted to ask you, do you think you're like on the cutting edge of what the youth's going to be coming? Like, are there more Laura Longs in the next generation?
I really hope there are more people that want to stick their neck out and see what happens. I feel like people look at me as like that, through that lens.
Okay.
And I know for a fact that there are a lot of people who feel the same as me, and for whatever reason, they are either working too much, or they just don't want to do that, or like whatever it is, they're like, yeah, I'm not the one to go out there. And to be honest, that is, I think that is kind of the quality that kind of movement needs. I also kind of think that I'm not like the one to be the most outspoken about things, but no one else is doing it.
Right.
And so
I just think I see things have gotten progressively worse.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh well, the younger generation's like
gonna figure it out.
Well, they're getting kicked further and further on the edge, right? Like wealth distribution, and I'm just kind of like, yeah, huh? Is there? I don't know if that's a correct read. Do you feel like it's mostly younger people that you feel like you connect with viewpoints, or like is it the older hippie boomers?
I feel like there are a lot of people that would be like a person that shows up to a No Kings protest that understand.
There's a lot of gray hairs there.
Yes, yes. But I think a lot of them, a lot of that population understand, and they're like, yeah, we get it, and we would support that, but it's not like a legitimate thing. It's more like we kind of have it figured out. We're retired. We have our house. We have our nest egg
from the system.
Yeah, we've got our nest egg, and we're figuring it out. And like, we see your struggles, and we see that going on, and we support whatever you're doing. But we're also like questioning it because we've benefited from this system that like you're criticizing so hard, and we don't understand that part. Like, there's definitely a little bit of a disconnect. I just hope that someday there's somebody that's like, all right, Moab and Grant County, we're gonna start regulating short-term rentals. We're gonna start like closing that gap of homes that are like 1/3 of fucking homes that are second homes in this community, making life more affordable here, and then also paying the people that work here a professional wage.
Well, I always wonder about affordable housing because there's two sides of it. It's like, well, it's affordable if you make money, right? Like, anything's affordable if you have enough income.
Yeah, yep, totally.
And so I've always felt like that is a thing we do not talk about in the affordable
How would you
housing
solve
movement.
it? How would you solve the problem?
Me?
Yeah.
Of what? Which one?
The ability to live here and work here, like the problem where people can't.
And that's why I'm like, our problems are rapidly changing in this national sense. We have heightened contradictions. We have more of a wealth pump. We're getting unemployed professionals losing their jobs. Unemployed lawyers are the most dangerous class. The Russian Revolution wasn't thrown by the peasants. It was thrown by the professional lawyers. Unemployed lawyers, like, there's a great book on precursors to revolution, and so you're watching this national thing go on, like the Trump Zohan Modani voter that exists because people are just like, we're whatever, Hail Marys.
Yeah.
And so this thing is
They
happening.
have nothing left to lose.
Right. And so it's like, well, am I talking about fixing Moab's problems in this like past 20-year context? Or I'm like, are we going to have things that are like way blown out of proportion? And we live in Utah and all that. So it's like, okay, the sensible approach would be like, we need a better redistribution of wealth. We have to pay the peasants enough to live here, but not too much, but just enough.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like going to be that question.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think the thing is to support entrepreneurship because it's Utah. And entrepreneurship, you can argue, is a like single entrepreneurship has a real it's not as exploitative. If you own your own business, you're exploiting your customers.
Yeah.
Right? And then anybody who has employees needs to be done in a real conscientious way. Would I like start with our out of town corporate interests being like, yeah, you can't pump wealth out of here. We're unionizing your cleaning staff.
Sure.
Like, is that the start?
Sure.
And then still being like protecting our land for local ownership, because there's so little of it. It's
There's
like it's like
we're
all
surrounded by
we're
public
fighting
land.
for like a percent.
I don't
of
think a lot of
housing.
people realize that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah.
Are we going to turn it into luxury vacation playground for rich people, or are we going to turn this 6% into the people that fucking live here and make this town run?
And I'm also into like those luxury 6% people. Like, I'm honestly like, hey, could we have less tourism and make more money? No, maybe
because you're targeting richer people.
Or we extract the wealth from them better. Like those.
I mean,
things,
but you'd have
like I had this major change of heart towards nightly rentals when I started working out in Rim Village, because when I saw Rim Village, it wasn't like corporate hotels. It was like the cleaning lady at Rim Village owned their own business and made $60 an hour and wasn't making sub 15. And I was like, man, is this a better way to run? Like, that's what I'm saying, that, like, getting capitalism under control. Like, you're asking me my kind of thoughts is like, I think we want these situations where humans thrive. And even Marx was saying, like, capitalism served its purpose. It allocates resources
very efficiently.
Yeah,
for a while.
For a while. And so, but central planning, the invisible hand needs a brain kind of thing. So that's what perspective, I don't have a solve all. I don't know. It's...
I mean, nobody does, but...
That would be my approach. And would you ever run for political office here?
I would... I feel like I would consider something like that if, like I was saying before with the Cane Creek stuff, I need to be motivated to do something like that. Like, I'm pretty outspoken. I'm throwing myself out there. I'm talking about things. Hopefully people are listening. I feel like a lot of... Like, personally, I don't feel represented by anybody that you interviewed so far. And I don't think that the people that might be with a similar mentality as me, like the people that also don't feel represented in this town, probably won't even, maybe they'll watch this because I'll send it to them or something, but like they might not watch something like this. And well,
do you want to preach to the choir, or do you want to,
Right. That's kind of the thing. Yeah. Where it's like, are you going to go out there and...
Moab's a weird town.
Yeah.
I mean, we have 10,000 people here, and it's...
Yeah. The Cane Creek stuff, though, I feel like I had a role in that because I complained to my roommates who I lived with at the time, and I said, this thing is super fucked up. This HB 22 thing is more than corrupt. I highly recommend anybody who's listening to this, go read about the House Bill 22 thing that Utah passed, because it was very specifically targeted to the Cane Creek thing in Grand County. And then they said, if you don't meet within a 100-day period, this special service district, you are going to have to flip the board to some other people. And they asked the developers to meet. The Grand County said, hey, do you guys want to meet? And they said no. Because they knew that HB 22 was passed. Grand County didn't know HB 22 was passed. And they said, okay, we won't meet with you. And they go on, and 100 days passed, and they didn't realize that this law existed that got the developers to be like, okay, now Grand County can't control the special service district of our sewer system, so now we control it. It's just like, and the details of all of this stuff with planning commission too, just the same thing is like, I'm not passionate about the details. I don't fucking care, but I have to understand it in order to call out the corruption. And I really would love for somebody to be able to call out the corruption in plain English to the masses so that they understand the system. They understand all this stupid shit that's going on in the background with all these powerful, rich people that keep calling the shots. They control how the city is made. They control a literal town out on Cane Creek Road in a floodplain. Like, people get breadcrumbs. That's how the working class works. And I just wish there was a politician that was just like, I'm going to run and I'm going to tell you all this messed up stuff and I'm going to tell you how it works in plain English. And for me personally, I think running for office with that kind of view is really scary. Because it's like, you are literally confronting all of the people that kind of benefit from that kind of thing. The tourism industrial complex, if you will, of Moab is like some low-key Democrat progressive tourism business owners, and then you have the other political people on the same side, and it's like, okay, maybe we do want a town out there because our business will grow. There's these conflicting interests, and I just wish that there was somebody running that was like, we're actually here to bring up the things that matter to the people that are living in their cars, who the Moab City Police are ticketing for living in their cars. There are people working at these companies as guides who are like, I don't feel like driving 35 miles out of town tonight. I don't feel like driving my van 35 miles out of town tonight. So I'm going to park in a parking lot outside of my business. And they get ticketed by the police, dude.
I always thought it was hypocritical. The city talks about green initiatives and stuff. And like, oh, you want to change it so we have to have more efficient water heaters? How about the van lifers not drive 35 minutes?
Right.
Every
Right,
week?
and then like low key, like we're building trails out, and the campground is going to be like more popular because people are going to want to camp out of the campgrounds, and the people that work here are going to like conflict with the people that are trying to drive. Like, there was a rumor going around town that I was like a Curtis Wells fangirl or something, and
Oh, you're not?
I
I just wondered. I didn't know.
multiple people have asked me that, and the whole time I'm like, Oscar fucking started this rumor. Oscar totally started this rumor that I'm a Curtis Wells fan.
That was not me.
Somebody started this, and
Somebody
I'm like,
did,
the
and
only
they asked
person
me.
that I can think of is Oscar.
It's Kevin Walker. I'll say that on live television. It's Kevin Walker.
And here's probably why that happened was because
know if it's Kevin Walker.
maybe, you know, I've seen like evidence that Curtis Wells is a luxury resort real estate agent for Lions back and wanted to be the primary real estate guy for the luxury condos at Cane Creek. And I'm like, that would be crazy. That would be coming straight out of right field or left field, however you want to look at it.
Right? Which one's right field?
Right field, left field. For, like Laura Long supports Curtis Wells.
You don't.
I mean, I don't support anybody right
you
now.
You kind of see it as like they're all kind of playing the same game to lesser degrees, and like.
Yeah.
Clip this. Laura Long
And-
supports Curtis Wells.
But I will
Untrue.
say, like, he comes out and he talks about affordable housing and he talks about how he can do all this stuff. He's got this populist rhetoric, not to mention, like, he literally called Moab City Police, like, a Moab Vice type thing. That's gonna turn some heads. Oh, what do you mean by that? You know, like, but it's all rhetoric, and, like, I don't trust people without a track record. Low-key, I think Curtis has, like, a luxury resort developer track record, real estate speculator type vibe. Like, Joette's got this cool community sort of like, I'm here for the old people to get retired in a nice way in this community. I respect that. I think she's got good mentality, but like, and then Miles is talking about affordable housing, and he's on the city planning commission, right? So I think that's valuable, but yeah, it's just tough, dude.
Yeah.
Just,
So you just don't like. Would you not run because it's like too much of a conflict? Like you feel like you'd be so targeted, or because you like the fight. You like the fight. Though.
I would run, but I know it would piss a lot of people off because it would tear the dominant party that's like low key, like trying to make things better. It would tear it in half.
Huh.
Like just like I feel like it's very reflective of national politics, where like if a Bernie Sanders were to run, it would get shut down by the powerful interests that are like too progressive.
Right.
It's too much. You gotta
feel that exists here.
I think it exists here. Yeah.
You know, it's funny. Bernie was. I remember what that 2016 election.
Yeah.
He was. Oh, did he win this count? I was surprised at how much support he had.
Bernie,
here.
both times, he had.
But I think it's
would have-
Utah because you have a throwaway vote, so you might as well vote. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Utah's different, yeah.
Yeah, like people in Grand
I
County.
wasn't in Utah in 2016.
Yeah, I am just saying, I think what happens here is like, you're like, well, I really, like, my vote doesn't count.
Yeah.
So I'm going to vote for the guy I really like.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And
Right.
so that's what happens here.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Well, that's been interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for all
Yeah.
the input.
Thanks for having me. Thank you to the crew, to the producer, and you for the space and the
No
opportunity.
problem. Thanks
to
for
talk.
showing up.
Yeah, that's cool.
So.
Cheers.
Yeah.